Good evening, everyone. I'm Rohit Agarwal, and I welcome you all to this live session presented by the TalentSprint Banker's Choice program. As you all know that this live session is being conducted as a part of the free learning series for the IBPS PO exam, which is scheduled in the month of October. I'm sure your preparation for this IBPS PO exam is full on, and by now you are already in your practice mode, right? You should have done with your preparation, and now you should start practicing on what you have learned so far, so that you can maximize your score. And this session today, we are going to look at some of the previous questions that have been asked in the reasoning section of the IBPS 2 exam. So as a part of this learning series, we have already conducted about 7 sessions across which we have discussed various questions from quant, reasoning, English, some questions on general awareness as well. And this is the 8th session where we look at the reasoning questions. If I am not wrong, in the last session on reasoning, we have discussed a few questions on machine input output, blood relations, and data sufficiency. And today again we'll look at some of the other questions from this section. So let's get started with this session on reasoning, where we'll look at the previous year's questions. So I've got a few papers with me, previous year's papers and questions on the reasoning section there. So let's see, what shall we start with? I think we'll start with alphabet first, because this seems to be an important 1-mark question in IBPS PO exam, right? You can expect one question on the concept of alphabet there, the English alphabet, which has got 26 letters. So let's look at a few questions from this one, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Now, one very popular question from alphabet is about finding out the number of pairs of letters in the given word, which have got as many letters between them in the word as in the actual English alphabet. For example, look at this question. It says, how many pairs of letters are there in the word importance? How many pairs of letters are there in the word importance? Right, so here is the word importance. We are supposed to find out the number of pairs in this word importance, each of which has as many letters between them in the word as in the English alphabet. Right, so this is a popular question from this topic, and I'm sure all of you will be aware of these type of questions. So all we need to do here is find out pairs of letters which have got the same number of letters between them as in the English alphabet. For example, if you look at A and C, I'm just taking up a random pair, A and C. How many letters do we have between A and C here? Only one letter, that is N. If you look at the actual English alphabet, what's the English alphabet? A, B, C, D up to Z, right? So in the actual English alphabet, how many letters are there between A and C? There's only one, which is B. So the point here is, in between A and C here, we have one letter. And in the actual alphabet as well, we have got only one letter. So we can consider A and C to be the right pair. So we have to find out all such pairs in this word which have got the same number of letters between them as in the English alphabet. So I'll give you about 30-45 seconds for this. Try to answer this question, and then we'll move on to the next one. Right? So find out the pairs of letters, the number of pairs of letters which have got as many letters between them as in the English alphabet. 45 seconds, your time starts now. For example, again, if you look at A and E, in between A and E, how many letters do we have? 2 letters, N and C. In the actual alphabet, between A and E, we have got 3 letters, D, C, D. So there we have 3, and here we have got only 2. So A, E cannot be taken as the right pair. So you all need to find out those pairs which have got same number of letters. I think I've got the first answer from Manasa. He says it is option, answer is 4. Answer is 4. Let me also read out the options for you. Option number 1 is none. Option 2 is 1. Option 3 is 2. Option 4 is 3. And option 5 is more than 3. So you have 5 answer options: none, 1, 2, 3, or more than 3. And because you say that it is 4, that means there are 4 pairs of letters. So probably the answer has to be option 5, more than 3. But let us just wait for a few more answers, and then we'll look at the solution. Well, you all should know that the right method of answering this question is to go by the positions of these letters, right? You cannot just look at letters randomly and try to find out the pair. That would eat up a lot of time, right? You have to follow a proper method, and that method here is to go by the positions and then start counting them. Okay, so few more answers there from Mangla.Kakuya, 4 pairs, right? And there's one more answer from Pravir.Ranu, 4. So looks like all of you have got the answer as 4. Just 10 more seconds and then we'll look at the solution. There are different types of questions that can be asked from alphabet. This is one of those types, right? This is one of the models. There are other three or four models. We'll look at one question from each of these, right? So generally an easy one, but there are certain questions in this topic which are supposed to be skipped in the exam. Ideally, it's better to leave that question instead of spending time on it, right? So we'll also look at those type of questions, but let's look at this one. Right, so more than 3. I think others have also got the answer. Kiran, Swati, Navadeep, 91 has got more than 3, and CSK Krishnan has got 3. Okay, so all the answers are matching so far except for Krishnan, because he says the answer is 3. He has got only 3 pairs, and others have got more than 3 or option 5 as the answer there. So let's look at the correct solution. So as I mentioned, what do we need to do here? Go by the positions of these letters. Ideally, it is something like this. You read out the English alphabet starting from each letter and try to map with the given word. For example, if you look at I, just read the English alphabet. I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. So there's nothing which is matching with the given word there. So no pair, right? No pair with I. Then take M. M, N, O. Now look at this M, N, O. That means M and O are coming in the same position. So here there is one letter P, M, N, O. There is one letter in the alphabet which is N. So M, O can be taken as the right pair. So M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U. And then so on for each letter of the word. P, Q, R. P, Q, R is another pair. P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X. O, P, Q, R, S, T, U. And then R, S, T, U, V, W. T, T, U, V, W, X. A, B, C. We already taken that, right? And A, B, C, D, N, O, P, and so on. After finishing this, you have to come back in the reverse direction, right? Remember, by default, when such a question is asked, you have to consider it both forward as well as backward direction. So do the same thing in the backward direction. E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. So you see that from E to M, it's correctly matching. E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. So E and M is the right pair. Then C, D, E, F, and so on. But then this is the right way to get the answer, but it would take some considerable amount of time, right? So one way to avoid wastage of time, even by following this method, the way to avoid wastage of time is go by the positions of these letters. Instead of reading the letters, it would be easier to read the positions, right? So what we'll do here is first mark the positions of all these letters. For example, you know that I is 9th letter of the alphabet. Yes or no? I's position is 9. What about M? 13. T is 16. O is 15. This is 18. 20. 1. N is 14. This is 3 and 5. So you are supposed to remember all these 26 positions from A to Z by heart, because you cannot waste your time in the exam by counting them on your fingers, right? You need to know all these positions. So now that you have marked the positions, follow the same process, right? For example, start with 9. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So nothing matches with 9, right? 13, 14, 15. Look at this, 13 and 15. Correct. Then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and so on. The advantage of going by positions here is that you don't have to actually do it till the end. For example, you look at 20. When I start with 20, I know that if something should match with 20, it has to be more than 20 there. Get the point? If something has to match with 20, a pair should be along with 20. The second number has to be more than 20. Do we see anything more than 20 here? No. So I can simply leave it there itself, right? But as such, when you go by the letters T, you don't really get that idea immediately. You have to check T, U, V, W, X, and so on, right? For example, look at 18. You know that if something has to match with 18, it should be more than 18 because you are reading in the ascending order. So 18, 19, 20, and so on. The only number more than 18 here is 20, but it is immediately after 18. So it cannot be a correct pair. And all the remaining are less than 18. So this way you can save some time by not taking up such positions, right? But whereas when you go by letters, you have to check each and every possibility. So that is the reason. Remember all these 26 positions by heart, immediately mark the positions and quickly go for them. So let's start doing that. 9. Now you understand that these are all far away from 9, so they cannot be so close to 9 in the positioning there. So 13, 14, 15, I mean 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, everything is ruled out. And remaining are less than 9. 13, 14, 15. So MO is one pair. 16, 17, not possible. Then 16, 17, 18. PR is another pair. 18, 19, 20, I can just leave that. Then 15, 16, 17, nothing is possible. 18, you know, nothing is possible. 20, not possible. 1, 2, 3, A and C is possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4, not possible. 14, you can leave. 3, 5, everything can be left. Now do it in the reverse direction. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 5 and 13 is the correct pair. So E with M. And 14. Then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And you can just avoid that. 1, you know, nothing is going to match. So this way you can just count. But however, if you look at the answer options here, you know that there are the options are as follows: none, 1, 2, 3, and more than 3. Now, the moment you get 4, you can say that answer is option number 5. You don't have to check for the remaining 6, right? That can be done only when you have looked at the options first. Because it is more than 3, I've got 4. So the only possible answer here is option 5, more than 3. Right? So the simple logic here is put the positions of these letters and count as quickly as possible. But do it properly. In a hurry, you may sometimes miss one or the other pair there, right? So do it quickly, but do it properly. And I would say this is the ideal way of getting that. The one common doubt or one common question which students get here is that, should we do it on both the sides or only on one side? Remember, you have to take it on both the sides. Sometimes it will clearly specify that how many pairs of letters are there only in the forward direction or only in the backward direction. In that case, you can just go ahead with as it is mentioned in the question. But otherwise, unless specified, you have to consider both the directions. So that's one model from alphabet. Let's look at a few more questions from the same topic, alphabet. Then let's look at this one. It says, if it is possible to make a meaningful word, if it is possible to make only one meaningful word with the first, I'll just write the position here, with the first, second, fifth, and ninth letters of the word mediation. Right? The word here is mediation. Now the question says, if it is possible to make a meaningful word, if it is possible to make only one meaningful word with the first, second, fifth, and ninth letters of the word mediation, which of the following will be third letter of the word? So first, pull out these letters from the given word and try to make meaningful words. If it is possible to make only one meaningful word, which is the third letter of that word? Then the other part of the question says, if no such word can be formed, then the answer should be taken as X. And if more than one word can be formed, if more than one such word can be formed, then the answer should be taken as Z. Right? So these are the different possibilities. So the actual question says third letter of the word. What is the third letter? If no word can be formed, then the answer should be X. And if more than one word, if you can form more than one word, then the answer should be taken as Z. So that's the condition that you need to keep in mind. So try to answer this one now. 1, 2, 5, and 9. These are the 4 letters. So the first letter is M, second letter is E, fifth letter is A, and 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th is N. Right? So try to make meaningful words of those letters using those letters and then answer this. I think some of you are saying that OP will also make a pair in the previous word there. So maybe, as I said, we did not complete the question. The previous one where we are looking at the word important, we did not complete the question there because we have got the right answer in the middle itself. More than 3 is the answer there. So once we get 4 pairs, we can just avoid. Suppose the answer options are given like 4, 5, 6, 7, then I'll probably have to complete it. So that anyway is very clear to us. All right, so let's look at these letters now. M, E, A, N. So what are the words which can be formed in these letters? M, E, A, N. Now, mean itself is a word, right? Mean itself is a word, one word. Any other name, any other word? I think I've already given you the word there. What's the other word there? Name, N-A-M-E. Name is one meaningful word which can be formed using these letters. Now, the moment you get 2 words, you know that the answer has to be Z. If there is only one word which can be formed, then we'll go for third letter, A, or M, whatever it is. If there is no word, then we go for X. And if there is more than one word, then the answer should be taken as Z. So the correct answer for this question has to be Z. And you don't have to worry about the third or the fourth word there, because two words itself will give you the answer as Z, right? So this is again an important question, a popular question from this topic of alphabet. Now, what I really want to ask all you guys here is it an easy one or a difficult one? Is this question easy or difficult? It's simple. A word is given and some positions will be marked there. You have to find how many meaningful words can be formed using those letters. And then based on that, some answer has to be marked. Is it easy or difficult? Is it easy or difficult? That's the question to all of you. Is this question an easy one or a difficult one? I just want to understand. I mean, I am just trying to see if you have followed the concept or not, right? Easy or difficult? Simple. Pick up letters, form words, and then try to answer them. I think good. All of you have got Z as the answer there. I see many answers coming in. We'll look at one more question from this topic of alphabet, and then we'll move on to some topics, some other topics, maybe coding and decoding. Okay. So anybody there who has replied? The question was that is this question an easy one or a difficult one? Okay, I think I've got many answers here. Let's look at the answers now. Vinny Vasu says easy because of options that are given, and Kiran says this is easy, so easy, right? Soumya says it's very easy. Vinay also says it is easy. Hemant also feels that easy. Then I've got some interesting answers. Sometimes easy, sometimes it's difficult, right? This is the response from Narsimhan, and Sharma says it is a 50-50 probability, depends, and that's the idea. But then if I take the top line out of it, most of you say that it is easy. Let me tell you, this is not an easy one. Though it looks to be easy, maybe we have solved this one very quickly, but as such, these type of questions or this particular model from alphabet is, I would say, one of the most difficult questions. Now you might be surprised, most of you or many of you might be surprised that why is it difficult? It's so easy to get the answer. The problem here is, or the point here is, here in this particular case, because you have got two words immediately, mean and name, you were able to mark the answer as Z. Yes or no? All of us were immediately able to find out that mean and name are the two possible words, and maybe there are many more. We don't know, but two words will give you the answer as Z, and hence you found it to be you find it to be easy. But let's say some of us in the exam, when you're solving this question, you get only one word mean. Get only one word mean. Now you're thinking about the second word. Second word will not strike to you. Let's say the second word doesn't strike to you. What's the second word? We don't know. I mean, we have no idea. We're just thinking of what word can be formed. So I tried different possibilities, but I'm not getting the second word. Can I mark the answer as A? Because the question says, what is the third letter of the word? What is the third letter of the word? A. So think of what happens to those guys who mark the answer as A. They'll mark the answer as A and they'll get minus 0.25. Because A is not the answer. The answer here is Z. The second word can be formed. Name can also be formed. Are you able to follow? Likewise, some of you may get the word name, but maybe you don't get mean. Let's say you've got the word name, you're thinking of the other possibility. Let's say mean, does not strike to you at that point of course, here anyway it will come to you. MEAN itself is a word, but let's talk in general, right? So the second word does not strike to you. What do you do? How long will you think about the second word? The problem here is, if you get name now, what happens? You'll mark M as the answer. But what's the actual answer? The actual answer is Z. So the point here is, if you get stuck with only one word, though you have got an answer, you will not be in a position to mark it. Because the question that pops up immediately in your mind is there a second word or not? And you really have no idea about it. You have to think about the second word. And how long can you think? 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, right? Maybe you don't get the second word after 2 minutes. But is it confirmed that then there is only one word? No. Maybe there actually exists a second word, but it does not strike to you at that point of time. So what happens? You will get a wrong answer, right? Likewise, let's say we do not get any word at all. You're not able to form any word. Can you mark the answer as X? Because the question says if no word can be formed, then the answer should be X. You may mark the answer as X, but you'll go wrong because actually we can form a word. We can form a word, mean, name. Other words may also be possible. So the point here is, though it looks to be easy, though we have answered this very quickly, these type of questions have got no definite method. Understand, this is purely a vocabulary based question, right? It's all about how many words do you get at that point of time using those letters. So there is no definite method to answer the question. Our answer is correct. Our answer is confirmed only if we get something like Z, more than one word. But if you get only one word, you'll always have a doubt. Maybe there's a second word. If you get no word, still you'll have a doubt. Maybe there's one word possible. So when you answer such questions, the point which I'm trying to make here is, when you answer such questions, do not spend too much time. Here, okay, two words you have got an answer. But if you get only one word, or if you don't get any word, don't keep thinking about the words there. Just spend 30, 40 seconds at the maximum. Whatever possible answer you have got, mark it and move to the next, right? There's no method, there's no definite method to get the answer, right? So don't spend your time in answering these type of questions. Quickly try out something in 30 seconds, whatever possible you get, you just mark it and move to the next. All right. So just remember, alphabet, there are certain questions which are based purely on your vocabulary, and there is no method for such questions. I'll give you one more question similar to this one. Let's see how many of you can answer that. For example, look at this one. How many meaningful, this is a direct question, how many meaningful English words can be made with the letters I, D, E, T? The letters are I, D, E, T. The question says, how many meaningful English words, how many meaningful English words can be made using the letters I, D, E, and T, using each letter only once in each word? So you have to use all the 4 letters. No repetition is allowed, right? Repetition is not allowed. And how many meaningful words can be formed? Answers are 1, 2, 3, 4, more than 4, and so on, right? So try to find out how many words can be formed using these 4 letters I, D, E, T. Now this question again, if you have understood, is based on vocabulary. There's no definite method, right? I think, as rightly pointed out by Krishnan, he says the satisfaction won't come for this question. You may be in doubt if it has another word, right? So that's exactly what I was trying to mention, right? There's no confirmation about the answer unless you get answer as Z, like we have got. Now, how many words can be formed? I, D, E, T. Just give me the number: 3 words, 4 words, 5 words. I think I've got a few responses there. Shamala says 2 words. 2. Kiran has got 3. Vinita has got 3. Manasa has got 2. Kanika has got only 1 word, diet. And Mangala Pratakri has got 2. Vinini Vasu has got 2. 3 words can be made. Sharma says 3 can be made. And Nitish has got 2. Now what do you do? Again in the same case, same situation. Three, I think some of you have got 3 there, right? Vinay, Praneeth, Vipul Gupta, and Rahul. Rahul has given 1 word there. Okay. So how many meaningful? And remember, you have to use all the letters, right? Even if the question does not specify that, each letter has to be used and without repetition. You cannot use any letter twice or more than once, right? All right. So now look at this. Shalini says, "Oh, edit also can be formed." So maybe when she looked at the other responses, she found that edit can be made. And interestingly, a few of you have got 4 as an answer. Vinita says 4 words. Sorry, 4 words, which means earlier she got less than 4, and now the 4th word has come to her. And I think Tulsi Pani Kumar says 3, sir. You are not reading my name. I'm sorry if I've missed your name there, but you have also got the right answer, or you have also got an answer, right or wrong, I don't know. Nitish has got 4. So now look at this. You have got different answers. Different people have got different answers. Some of you started with 2. Few of you gave only 1 word as an answer. 3. And now there are a few students who say the answer is 4. And if I go by the answer options, if I go by the key, the correct answer here is more than 3. The answer for this question is more than 3. More than 3 means what? Most of you are wrong, because all of you said 2, 3 or 1. But the answer says more than 3. Now what are those more than 3 words is what we need to decide. Look at this. Look at the 4 words. Now think of it. I think many of you have given the word diet. Right? Diet is a meaningful word. Tide is a meaningful word. Diet, tide, and edit. Right? This was one word which did not strike to most of you. Those who all have said 2 words, they got diet and tide because these are the easier ones. Edit is the 3rd word. And there's one more word here. In my view, there's a 4th word. I mean, of course, more than 3 is the answer, but I also know a 4th word, which is tide. Tide is a word, right? You tie something. Tide. Tide is also a meaningful word. 4. And only when I get all these 4 words, I can be confirmed that, I mean, I can be sure that 5th option is the answer. More than 3 is the answer. There may be a 5th word. Who knows? But my concern here is, if I get 4 words, I'm done. I'm through. I know the answer is 5th option, more than 3, because all the remaining options are less than 3. So that's the point, right? I think Sharma has got more than 3 words: tide, diet, tide, and edit. Good. But earlier your answer was not more than 3. You said 3 words earlier. So that's what is important, right? You need to pick up questions wisely. You can't be spending too much time while answering such questions. Those who all have got only 2 words, they'll mark 2. How long will they think for the 3rd word? It may not come to you in 30 seconds or 60 seconds, right? Those who all have got 3, they may mark 3, but even they'll go wrong because there is a 4th word. How long will you think about the 4th word? It may not come to you at all in that particular moment of time, right? So this is important. It is really important that you don't waste too much time while answering this. Looks to be easy, but in my view, these are some of the difficult questions that come under alphabet. The first one was okay. There is a definite method, finding out the pairs of letters. But second and the third one, which are based on vocabulary, you have to be a little cautious. Okay. So I don't say skip such questions. Try it out, because if you get 4 words, you are through. But do not waste your time. Right. All right. So that's about alphabet. There are other types of questions as well, but I've got 7 or 8 questions from the previous papers, but it is not discuss all those. I mean, you will be able to do that. Let's now look at some questions from, I think, coding and decoding. I have picked up a few questions from coding and decoding as well. Let's look at that. Okay, coding and decoding again is an interesting topic, right? Coding and decoding, from our observation, it can be anywhere between 1 to 5 marks in the IBPS Q exam. Sometimes they give you only independent questions, one question which is simply based on certain logic. Sometimes a 5-mark question is asked, where a set of statements are given along with their codes in some other language, and you need to identify the codes of this. So I think that 5-mark model we have already covered as a part of our SBIPO learning series. So you can anyway refer that. Let's look at few independent questions in today's session, right? So I think, see, the discussion has started here. That I agree, even I got 2, but after that I got the 4 words. So that's what is important, right? We should not give preference to these type of questions. Exactly, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. And again, let me mention that you should not give preference does not mean that you will skip it. Try it out, but 30 seconds is your answer. Your answer is not based on how long you think. It should be based on 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, whatever you get, you should be marking that. If you say, no, I don't want to take a chance, then don't touch these questions at all. Just skip and move to the next one. Because you are never sure about the answer unless you get 5th option, more than 3, more than 4, and those. Okay, so let's take up a few questions from coding and decoding. I think, look at this one. These questions are asked in 2011 and 2010 IBPS Q exam. In a certain code, loud is written as JQSF. Loud, the word loud is written as JQSF. Then which of the following English words shall be coded as PK? Now here we need to find out the word which shall be coded as PKQG. So this is different. The word loud is coded as JQSF. Which of the following words will be coded as PKQG? I'll give you the answer options here. First answer is rice. Second answer is rope. The third one is road. Fourth answer here is rice. And the 5th one is roll. again, there's no method. These questions are all based on trial and error concept, unless we get that 5-mark question where you can cancel the common words and find out their code. So try it out. 30 seconds should be enough for you to get the answer there. Try to understand the logic. Loud is JQSF. What will be the code for PK? I think we'll discuss a 5-mark coded inequalities question after this, because coded inequalities has been an important part of the reasoning section, right? So you need to focus on these topics. Okay, so Vinny Vasu 06, the answer is rope. I mean, the answer as per Vinny Vasu is rope, and Neha says it is option 1, rise. So 2 answers, but there's no consensus there. All right, so I think there's a confusion between rope and rise. Some of you say it's rise, others say it is rope. Rise, R-I-S-E, and I think Dinesh Kumar has got the answer as option 4, rise. I mean, what you eat. So what's the logic? LOUD is coded as JQSF. So what will be the word for which the code will be PKPG? Now see, the easiest way to, the easiest approach for such questions, I will not say method, but the best approach is to go by positions, right? Try to work on the positions, because most of the times in this question from coding and decoding, the logic is based on the positions, right? So let's look at the positions of these letters. If you look at L, J, O, Q, U, S, D, F, these sound close to each other. So maybe there's certain logic based on the shifting of their position. What is L? L is 12, J is 10. Or let's write all the positions. This is 15, and U is 21, and this is 4. What about JQSF? 10 and 17. S is 19. F is 6. Now try to see if there's any logic that you can see here. Now if you try to directly map first letter of both the words, second letter of both the words, and so on, you see here we have 12 and 10. So that looks like -2. Then 15 and 17 is +2. 21 and 19 is -2, and 4 and 6 is +2. So the logic here looks like 12 -2, 15 +2, 21 -2, and 4 +2. So it's like plus -2 +2 -2 +2 and so on, right? And we can now be sure that this itself is the correct logic. See, you never know whether the logic that you have worked out is correct or not. But because this has got certain flow in it, there is a rhythm here, minus, plus, and alternately, I mean, always you are shifting by 2 positions, either in the backward direction or in the forward direction, alternately, right? So that's what is the logic. Now apply that here and get the answer, right? But understand, if this is -2 +2 -2 +2, you have to work in the reverse direction here. So this will be +2 -2 +2 -2 and so on. Are you able to follow? Generally, typically, the question gives another word and we have to find out the coded form. But here the coded form is given and we are required to find out the word. So don't worry, don't work on this part. Try to look at it this way: 10 + 2, 17 - 2, 19 + 2, and 6 - 2. So P + 2. Position of P 16. 16 + 2 R. 16 + 2 is R. K - 2. K is 11. -2 is 9. So I. Q + 2. 17 + 2 is 19. 19 is S. And G -2. G is 7, -2 is 5, and 5 here is E. So the answer for this question would be RISE. RISE, which is option number 1. Get the point? So one thing for sure is that you have to mug up all the 26 positions by heart, right? Do not take any chances when it comes to these positions, right? In the previous question also from the alphabet, we have seen that positions are important for answering that question. The pairs of letters between the word, I mean, the number of pairs which have got equal number of letters in the word as in the English alphabet. There also positions are important. And coding and decoding always, the position of the words is really very important. So make sure that you remember all the 26 positions by heart. There are certain tricks which can be followed. For example, there's something known as EJOT rule, right? EJOTY. This is fifth letter, this is 10th, 15th, 20 and 25. So we are taking letters at intervals of 5, and based on this we'll try to work on the positions. For example, I want the position of P. Now if you start counting from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, it is going to take a lot of time. But this way, if you remember that E is 5, J is 10, O is 15, T is 20 and Y is 25, you know OP, that's very easy for us. OP, O is 15, so P will be 16. So this way, this rule EJOTY will help you to some extent, right? You want the position of, let's say, R, so OPQR, OPQR, so 15, 16, 17, 18, R is 18. You want the position of, let's say, N, so JKLMN, right? So JKLMN, so 11, 12, 13, 14, N will be equal to 14, right? So this way, if you can remember these 5 positions by heart and then work out plus minus, you'll be able to find out the positions of the given letter. But in my view, I would say even this is not required. Not required as in, just don't depend on this particular technique. How many letters do we have? 26 letters. 26 letters, if you have to remember all the positions, it will not take more than half an hour, right? Hardly half an hour. So spend that time, because this is really very helpful in the exam. So remember all the positions by heart. Don't depend on E, J. This also is a waste of time if you ask me. You have to find out R. So first check O, P, Q, R and then count. It's going to take a lot of time. So remember all the 26 positions by heart. And I'll tell you something interesting. The easiest way to do is start with your name. For example, my name is Rohit. So I'll start with ROHIT. R is 18, O is 15, H is 8, I is 9, T is 20. So, you know, 5 positions are done. Anyway, we know A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5. The first 5 are easy, X, Y, Z is easy, 24, 25, 26. So already 8, 10 letters are over. Remaining 16, you just try to work on your name, or work on your friend's name, or girlfriend's name for that matter. It becomes very easy for you. You can remember these 26 positions without any difficulty. And the longer your name, the better it is, because you'll have more number of letters and you'll be excited to know the positions of each of those. I have a disadvantage. It's only a 5-letter name, so right. But anyway, the point here is remember all the positions. Do not depend on any of these kind of techniques to remember the position. Okay. Let's look at one more question from coding and decoding. Now look at this one. In a certain code language, it says DHIE is coded as WSRV. AEFB is written as ZVUY. So how will you write GKLH in that line? So in a certain code language, DHIE is written as WSRV, AEFB is taken as ZVUY, and GKLH is what? And there are options there, right? Options are not required, I believe. Just start working. Options are SQNR, TQMP, and TR, DO, TPOS. Fifth option number. I think Nitish says that there are tricks to remember all alphabet numbers. Try YouTube. Well, as I said, EJOT is one trick to remember the 5 positions and then the other ones. And there are other techniques also. I also know those techniques, but as I've mentioned, it's of no use. I mean, there are 26 letters. Out of those 26 letters, you already know the position of 8, easily 8. A, B, C, D, we know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that's fixed. Fixed as in, we already know that, right? X, Y, Z, you know, Y is 25, Z is 26, X is 24. So already 8 of them are over. What is left out? 18. 26 minus 8, 18, 18 positions. How much time does it take? For example, the techniques, I'll tell you what techniques you can follow. For example, A, you anyway know, A, B, C, D, E is like, 5 positions, I'll tell you some techniques. I don't know whether these are useful or not, but it's like this. F, you want to know the position of F. Now think of a word with F. F, it's like F, fix. Fix. Right? F for fix. Remember that way. F for fix. What is fix? Fix sounds like 6. 6 is, rhyming with 6. So position of F is 6. Is this required? I mean, useless, I would say. Useless as in I am not against this, but this 6, that's it, mug it up. They say G. How do you remember the position of G? It's something like this. If you observe the way we write G, it's like this, G 7. It's like this, G. If you split it into parts, it will be appearing like this. 7. So 7. So G is 7. Okay, this will help you. This way you can remember, but otherwise also it should not be difficult, right? You don't have to remember. You look at H. If you try to write it if you try to modify it a little, it will be like this. I can write it like this. I'm trying to connect this part. So it looks like 8. Yes or no? Position of H is 8. Likewise for I, what I? This is I. You want the position of I. How do you remember this? How do you write I in the small letters format? I mean, this is like capital letter. How do you write small I? This way, right? We write this way, right? I mean, you have seen some people write I like this. I mean, small letter I is this actually, but otherwise we can write I this way also. This is not small, this is capital only, but cursive I. I should not say small or capital, but cursive I. Right? How do you write this? This is I. This is looking like 9, right? 9. So I is 9. J. You write J like this, small j. You want to know the position of J. How do you write J? J is like this, J with a dot there. So it's like this, J, some people write this like this. So they say the position of J is this. This is 1. Bring this dot to the side, 10. So J is 10. You can apply these kind of techniques to remember. But what I'm trying to tell you here is, even if you don't know, doesn't matter. 26 letters, half an hour should be sufficient to mark it up. And if you can't remember this by heart, then it's difficult. Then there's something seriously wrong, because you need to have this, memory power, right? You have to remember certain things. How will you remember the formula then? Here we can apply all these techniques. How will you remember the formula of various shapes like mensuration? There are a lot of formulae in that. So how do you do that? Okay, so I think most of you have got the answer. TPOS, right? Ramchandran and Dinesh Kumar, Anchal, Mohapatra Sujit, Sharma, and Rahul Thapa has also got TPOS. Praveer Ranu has got TPOS. Good. So looks like that's the correct answer. But what's the logic? Let's work on the positions as I said. So 4, 8, 9, 5. How about W? What's the position of W? Now if you don't know, let's apply the technique which you have learned. EOT rule. T U V W. S T U V W. So T is 20. U V W. 21, 22, 23. This is 23. S T. So T is 20. So S will be 19. R 18. I know R perfectly because my name starts with R. So that's the advantage. If you can remember the letters of your name first, positions of the letters of your name, it will be very easy. And what is V? V, R, S, T, U, V, 21, 22, right? Similarly, this is 1, 5, 6, 2. This is 26, 22, 21, 25. What's the logic? 4, I mean, this is like too far, right? 4, 23, 8, 19, 9, 18, 5, 22. TPOD, I think someone has got an answer as TPOD. And others all have got TPOS. TPOS. I think only one different answer so far, and that is from Saktivel, right? TPOD. So what's the logic? I think someone has given the logic, right? It is. Can you scroll down? Let me see if you have given me the logic. Has someone helped me with the logic? Sharma.7650. It says logic is first number's code is same. Just scroll down. First number's code is same at the same position from the back. Alright, I think you got it right. Maybe you have not explained it very clearly, but that's correct. The idea here is each letter of the word is replaced with the same position from the backward direction, right? There is an alphabetical order and then there is reverse alphabetical order. So if you observe, D is the fourth letter from the alphabetical order. W is fourth letter from the reverse alphabetical order. 26, 25, 24, 23. Likewise, 8, H is the eighth letter in the alphabetical order. And then S is the eighth letter in the reverse alphabetical order. 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 19, 20 and 19, right? So the logic works that way. Each letter has to be replaced with the letter that comes in the same position from the reverse side. And the other easier way of looking at it is if you add positions of corresponding letters there. 4 plus 23 is 27. 8 and 19, 27. 9 plus 18, 27. 5 plus 22, 27. So the sum of the positions of the letter in the word and in the coded form is equal to 27. Likewise, 1 and 26, 27. 5 and 22, 27. 6 and 21 is 27. 2 and 25 is 27. So that is another way of looking at it. And in fact, if you ask me, easier way of getting the answer. So G, what is the position of G? 7. Why 7? I told you. 7. I mean, if you can follow that. Otherwise, remember, G is 7. So 7, K is 11. L, what is L? 12. H is 8. Now replace those letters which will add up to 27. So 7 plus what will give you 27? 7 plus 20. What is 20? T. 11 plus what gives you 27? 11 plus 16. What is 16? P. 12 plus 15 gives you 27. So 15 is O. 8 plus 19 gives you 27. So 19th letter is S. So the answer for this question will be O. So largely if you observe, it's based on the positions of the letters. I mean, this logic may vary from question to question, but mostly we find that it is based on something which is depending on the positions of these letters. So very, very important and essential that you remember these positions. And there are other questions as well. Let's not just focus on this part. I think we'll now take up coded inequalities. Coded inequalities has been a very important 5-mark question in the reasoning section. So we'll look at one coded inequalities question. I think by the time we finish this, we'll be done because the session has to close at 7 o'clock. So we'll take up a few questions on this coded inequalities. But before we do this, let me tell you the important areas from the reasoning section, right? See, generally what we have seen is we get a 5-mark question from coded inequalities. A 5-mark question can be expected from syllogisms. 5-mark question on machine input output, blood relations 5-marker, and there can be a 5-mark question on what are the other topics, right? There will be a question on arrangements, and arrangements the weightage will be easily between 10 to 15 marks. You can get 2 5-mark questions or 3 5-mark questions, or 1 8-mark question and 1 7-mark question, depending on the complexity, right? If it is a complex question, it will be given for 8 marks. 8 questions followed by the given data. So arrangements is a very important part, right? Arrangements, circular arrangement, linear arrangement, assignments, these kind of questions carry a weightage of 10 to 15 marks. Then as I mentioned, syllogs, blood relations, and coded inequalities, machine input output, these are other 5-mark questions. And then topics like alphabet, ranking and ordering, element series, and logical series, these can come as independent 1-mark questions. You can also get 1-mark question from coding and decoding, like what we have discussed earlier. So, I mean, in one way I have taken all the all the different topics of reasoning, but focus on the 5 markers there. In the exam assets, try to solve these 5 markers because this can easily fetch you 5 marks in about 2 to 3 minutes, right? Instead of spending time on questions where there is no logic, where there is no definite method, alphabet and coding and decoding, etc. So that's one very important point because given the time that we have for the exam, which is scheduled from October if I'm not wrong, so you have what? Hardly a month left, about 3 weeks from now. So in these 3 weeks, try to practice more. I think your preparation time is already over. You should have prepared by now. It's time to practice. Practice as much as you can. Solve as many papers as you can. Take as many tests as you can, so that you get that real-time advantage in the exam. Fine. All right. So let's look at coded inequalities. Now I've got many questions here, about 15-20 questions in this handout. But I'll take up the one which was asked in the 2013 IBPS PU exam. And I think if you are able to solve this, definitely you'll be able to solve the other questions as well. So 2013, the last year's IBPS PU exam, it was an online exam, but somehow we have a copy of that one. I mean, based on memory, of course, or that's what we say. So question numbers 1 to 5 from last year's paper, 2013 IBPS PU paper based on coded inequalities. I'll give you the instructions first. See, in the following questions, the symbols copyright, hash, at the rate, and then there's a checkbox and dollar are used with the following meanings as follows. P copyright Q means P is not greater than Q. P copyright Q means P is not greater than Q. So if P is not greater than Q, then P is less than Q or equal to Q, right? Remember, when you compare two variables, whatever be the type of variables, whenever you compare two variables, three results are possible. Either A greater than B or A less than B or A equal to B. So here it says P copyright Q means P is not greater than Q. If it is not greater, it can be lesser or it can be equal. So P less than or equal. Likewise, P hash Q. This is what you are supposed to do in the exam also. I mean, read and understand the meaning of each of these symbols. So P hash Q means P is neither greater nor equal. Neither greater nor equal means smaller. So P less than Q. Then P at the rate Q. What is P at the rate Q? P at the rate Q means P is neither greater nor smaller. P is neither greater nor smaller. Now, if it is neither greater nor smaller, equal. P is equal to Q. P is equal to. Then P check Q or P square Q, let's say P box Q means P is neither smaller nor equal. If it is not small and not equal, it is greater. So P greater than Q. And the last one here is dollar Q, which says P is not small. If it is not smaller, it can be greater or equal. So P greater than or equal to. So this is the general format there. So we have different symbols with meaning. So copyright is less than or equal to, hash less than, at the rate equal to, square is greater than, dollar is greater than. I think let's look at a couple of questions from this topic and then we'll close the session. Fine. So look at this one. Now you know what needs to be done. Statements are given followed by conclusions. Our job is to identify which of these conclusions follow the given statement. Which of these conclusions are definitely true based on the given statement. So look at this. Statements. Let's take question number 1. Statements. Statements are A N S dollar N and S box W copyright R. I hope you're able to see this. Is this covered in the frame? And then the conclusions. Let's look at the conclusions. The conclusions are, there are 3 conclusions actually, 1, 2 and 3 as follows. R dollar A S box R, S square A, and I think there is a 4th one which is W copyright A. So what you need to do is find out which of these conclusions follow the given statement, right? Let me just check this once. A box N, S dollar N, S box W copyright R, R dollar A, S box R, S box A, W copyright A, right? So you need to identify which of these conclusions follow the given statements, assuming that the statements are definitely true. So I think it should not take more than 10 to 15 seconds. If you have gone through the online video, you will know that there are 3 golden rules that you need to follow while answering these questions from coded inequality, right? There are 3 rules that we have defined. If you remember and practice those rules, it will be very easy to answer such questions. The only time consuming part in such questions is converting the symbols to the proper inequality, framing the right statement, connected statement, and then converting the symbols here. That's it. Once you are done with that, comparing and finding out which is correct and which is wrong is very, very easy, provided you know those rules. So I hope all of you know those rules already. We have discussed this earlier as well. So let's see how many of you get the answer right. Time starts now. I think you're not able to see the board. Option 2. Acha, looks like you already have the paper with you. Option 2, you mean option this follows, or you have some options with you? Because there are actually different options. Option 1 says only 1 and 2 are true. Option 2 says only 2, 3 and 4 are true. Option 3 is none is true. Option 4 says all 1, 2, 3, 4 are true. Option 5 is none of these. Okay, so we have got answers here. None is true. Most of you are saying that none is true. Vinny Vasu says none is true. Shalini Joshi, none is true. Arun has also got none as the answer. And Fani Kumar, Tulsi Fani Kumar says none is true. Narsimhan also says none is true. Matt for you is none follows. Devika Mitchell has got option 2. So I think it is only 2, 3 and 4 are true. So looks like a lot of different answers here. All right. So let's see how do you actually work on these questions. As I've mentioned, the first part here is to convert the symbols and replace the symbols with the proper inequalities and print the proper statement there. So if you really look at it, a square n, I mean, if you look at this, this square can be replaced with greater than. So this is greater than n. Dollar, what is dollar? Dollar is greater than or equal to. What about square? This is greater than. And copyright, copyright is less than or equal to, right? Less than or equal to. Now again, to check all these conclusions, you need to have a single statement. It will be easier that way. So we'll try to connect all these statements. Now if you look at it, a is greater than n anyway. S greater than or equal to n. That means n will be less than or equal to s. A greater than n, so n will be less than or equal to s. Write it properly, right? N less than or equal to s, then s greater than w, and w less than or equal to r. So now you can forget about these individual parts, right? There's only one statement which we'll look at. A greater than n, less than or equal to s, greater than w, less than or equal to r. And do the same thing here. Replace each of these symbols with the proper inequality. Dollar is greater than or equal to, and square is greater than. So greater than r, greater than a, and copyright is less than or equal to. Now check the conclusions one by one. R greater than or equal to a. R and a. Now you see that between R and A, we have got different types of inequalities. Greater, lesser, I mean dissimilar inequalities. And you know that as per rule number 3, when you find dissimilar inequalities between two variables, those two variables cannot be compared. What do you mean by cannot be compared? R can be greater than A, R can be less than A, or R can be equal to A. All the three are possible. But here only two are given. R greater than A is given, or R equal to A is given. R can also be less than A. Hence we will say this is not a correct conclusion, because R can be less, even that's possible, which is not given. Then look at second one, S greater than R. S and R, the same argument. Between S and R, we have got dissimilar inequalities, greater and lesser combination, dissimilar inequalities. And dissimilar inequality means what? All three combinations are possible. S can be greater than R, S can be less than R, S can be equal to R. Here we have only greater than. Is it a conclusion? No. Remember, the question clearly says which of the following are definitely true. Is it definitely true? S greater than R? No. It is possible. S greater than R is a possibility, but S greater than R is not definitely. And the second one is wrong. Third one, S greater than A. Same argument, S and A, greater and lesser, dissimilar inequalities, does not follow. And last one, W less than or equal to A. W and A, again the same problem. So one rule will give you all the four, will prove that all the four are wrong. So the answer here should be none follows. None of these conclusions follow the given statement. So that was a simple one, but understand, every question is simple. The only logic here, the only concept here is you need to remember those rules and follow those rules properly. So I'm sure all of you already know those rules because you have gone to the Banker's Choice online course, the coded inequalities video. Others can also enroll and watch those videos. Let us take one more question on this, and I think after that we'll close it. Let me see what question shall I give you. Slightly difficult one. This was really easy. Let's see. Based on the same symbols. I think let me just decide that. Okay. Let's look at this one. Question number 5 actually in the previous paper, 2013 IBPS paper. but for us, this will be question 2. So statements, different statements are given here. U at the rate N, N dollar F, F dollar A R. Conclusions. Look at the conclusion. First one, A at the rate U, N square R. Third one says R copyright U, and the fourth one is U. Okay, so U at the rate N, N dollar F, F dollar A square R, and A at the rate U, N square R, R at the rate, sorry, R copyright U, U square A. I think 1 minute again should be more than sufficient. I am giving 1 minute because we are in online live session. If it is a contact program, if you are seeing each other face to face, then I would probably give you just 10 to 15 seconds. So try to solve this and comment your answers. Let's see how many of you get it right. And this is the last question for today's session. Let's see how many of you really get it right. I think there's some query from Mandeep Singh. If any one is right, if S is greater than R is right, then what is the sign? We say if any one is right. What do you mean by any one is right? S greater than R is right, then what is the sign? Well, I'm not able to understand what you're asking on this. See, if you're talking about the previous one where we got none follows, because there were different inequalities, dissimilar inequalities between them, the idea is we say the two variables cannot be compared. Whenever between two variables we see dissimilar inequalities, those two cannot be compared. What do you mean by cannot be compared? Cannot be compared as in we are not able to come to a conclusion, right? R and A, let's say R and A cannot be compared, means R can be greater than A, or R can be less than A, or R can be equal to A. As I've mentioned, there are always three results possible. So all three are possible. Hence, we cannot talk about what is the correct one there. Now, if only R greater than A is given, it is wrong, because R can be less or R can be equal to A. Are you able to follow? The question clearly says which of the conclusions are definitely true. What do you mean by definitely true? It must always be true. So R greater than A is not always true. It is true in some cases. In some other cases, R may be less than A. R may be equal to A. So if at all only one of them is given, then you should say it does not follow. If all the three possibilities are given, R greater than A, R less than A, R equal to A, then you can say yes, the given conclusion is correct. All right, so looks like we have got the answers there. Let me just scroll down and see what are the different answers. Shalini says either 1 and 4 and 2 follows. Either 1 and 4 and 2 follows. Well, that's not the right statement, but I think you have got the right answer. You're not able to put it there right. Then option 2 and either 1 or 4 follows. Option 2 as in conclusion 2 and either 1 or 4 follows. So S. Ramu says option 2 and either 1 or 4, and Vinayak says only 2 and 4 is right. Only 2 and 4 is right. Math for you says 1, 2, 4 follows. 1, 2 and 4 follows. Okay. And who else? Maddie.Ripati says 1 and 2 are right. Vinita says only 2 follows. And I think now Vinita has changed the answer. She says now 1 or 4 and 2 follows. Which is not good, because you should get the answer in the first attempt. Maybe when you are looking at the other answer options, you tried it once again. And Soumya C says 1 or 4. So there are many other answers there, right? I think Mandeep's query has not been answered yet. I mean, he has posted it again. He says in the first question, if S is greater than R, okay, then what is the sign? Okay, I think I'll just look at that query once again. It has just gone down, scroll down. I'll scroll down and see. One more query from Tanmas 22. There are answers where it says in one combination W greater than A and another W less than or equal to A, right? So in such cases, should we mark the answer as either or, what should be the answer there? Well, it depends on what is the actual case there, right? You will find conclusions with all the three possibilities, right? A greater than B is given. In second conclusion, A less than or equal to B is given. So this does not mean that always the answer is either A, either one or two, A greater than B or A less than or equal to B, right? In some cases, A greater than B is definite. So there you have to mark as option one. Conclusion one follows. Only when they cannot be compared, you can go for either or. So the point here is, if you find all the three possibilities in the conclusions, greater, lesser, equal, don't blindly mark the answer as either or. You have to check in the given statements and only then come to any sort of conclusion there. Now let's look at the solution for this one. I think this will give you an idea there. U at the rate n. So U equals to n. U at the rate n. U equals to n. N dollar f. Dollar f is greater than or equal to f. F dollar a greater than or equal to a. A square r. Square r is greater than r, right? So U at the rate is equal to n and greater than or equal to f, greater than or equal to a greater than, square is a greater than r. And do the same thing for conclusions here. So we have got one statement, right? One statement. And what is this? This means a equals to u and n square is what? Greater than r. This r copyright u. Copyright means less than or equal to u, and u square a is what? U greater than r. Now let's see how many of these follow the given statement. Now if you look at this, a equal to u. Where do we have a? A is here and u is there. Now how do you compare? Look at the different inequalities. Greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to, equal to. See what is meant by this equality here? This means you can interchange u and n as per your requirement. So let's take u in place of n. Let's take u. So it looks like this: u greater than or equal to f, greater than or equal to a. In place of n, we are taking u. So u greater than or equal to f, f greater than or equal to a. Now when you compare a with u, what is the result? A less than or equal to u. Or if you compare u with a, u greater than or equal to f, f greater than or equal to a. Both are greater than equal to, greater than equal to. So I can say u is greater than or equal to a. This should be my conclusion. But what is the given conclusion here? A equals to u. See, u greater than or equal to a means a less than or equal to u. The conclusion we know is a less than or equal to u. But here it is given a equal to u. Is it correct? It's not correct. Because a is actually less than or equal to u. So first one is false. Look at second one, n greater than r. N greater than r. You compare n greater than or equal to f, greater than or equal to a, greater than or equal to r. Now as per rule number 2, you can just take the common part there and that will be the answer in terms of greater or lesser. So n greater than equal to f, greater than or equal to a, greater than r. Throughout we see greater than is there. So we can say n greater than r is correct. Hence second one is correct, definitely correct. Look at third one, r less than or equal to u. R less than or equal to u. Where is r? R is here and u. So nothing but the same thing again. Let's take u in place of r and compare. You don't have to write it always. I'm writing it so that I can explain it to you. Otherwise, you can directly understand. You take u in this place, in place of u, because you have to compare r with u. So u greater than or equal to f, greater than or equal to a greater than r, right? U greater than or equal to f, greater than or equal to a, greater than r. Now, what do you see here between u and r? What is the result between u and r? U greater than or equal to f, f greater than or equal to a greater than r. What is the comparison? We can say u greater than r, because what is common throughout? Greater than is common. So if u is greater than r, implies r is less than u. R is less than u. But what is given here? R is less than or equal to u. Is it right or wrong? It is wrong. This conclusion 3 is also wrong. And what the last one? U greater than r. Yes, u is greater than r. So conclusion number 4 is correct. Well, I thought this will give you either or case. Did I write it properly? Did I copy anything wrong? N greater than r, u greater than r. Copyright is less than r, right? Okay. So what's the answer for this one? Can you just show me the? All right. So I think many of you said either or case, but is it really giving us an either or case? We see that A equals to U is anyway wrong. Let me just check it once. U at the rate N dollar F dollar A square R. So at the rate is equal to N, dollar is greater than or equal to F is greater than or equal to A, that is greater than R, right? So what do you see here? First one says A at the rate U, at the rate is equal to. So is A equal to U? No, clearly A is not equal to U. A is less than or equal to U. So this is wrong. Second one, N square R. What is N square R? Square means greater than. N greater than R. Is N greater than R? Yes, N is greater than R. Second one is correct. Look at third one, R copyright U. R copyright U means what? R less than or equal to U. Now R and U, try to compare R with U, what do we get? R less than A, less than or equal to F, less than or equal to U. U and N can be interchanged. So R is less than U, but the given conclusion here is less than or equal to. Hence, third one is wrong. And fourth one, U square A. So U greater than R, and yes, you find that U is greater than R because U can be taken here. So U greater than or equal to F, greater than or equal to A, greater than R. What is common? Greater than. U greater than R is correct. So the answer for this question should be 2 and 4 follow. Yes or no? 2 and 4 follow. Are we missing anything? Where is greater than? I think right, but I thought this should be either or, and most of you got either or, right? Option 4 is U greater than A. Did I go wrong somewhere? Option 4 or conclusion 4, U greater than. Alright, I'm sorry, I think this should be A. I've taken it wrong. So that's what I was wondering, because I picked up this question. I wanted to show you the complementary pair case, but I moved up here. It should be A. Sorry for that. Let's check it once again. So anyway, we have checked first, second, and third one. Look at the fourth one. U square A. So U greater than A. U greater than A. We'll just look at the fourth one once again. Right now, U square anyway. U greater than A. Compare U with A. What happens? U. We know that U is greater than or equal to A. U can be taken in place of N. So U greater than or equal to F. F greater than or equal to A. So what do we get? U greater than or equal to A, right? From this we can say U greater than or equal to A. But what is given here? U greater than A is given. Is it correct or wrong? It is wrong, because actual conclusion is U greater than or equal to A. But what we have taken? Only greater than, or what is given? Only greater than. Hence this is also wrong. Now if you look at 1 and 4 together, see, individually conclusion 1 is wrong, individually conclusion 4 is also wrong. But when you combine together, you get both the possible answers. Yes or no? A equals to U is there, or U equals to A is given here, U greater than A is given here. Actual conclusion is U greater than or equal to A. So we can say independently 1 and 4 are wrong, but if you combine them together, if you combine conclusion 1 with conclusion 4 together, what do you get? You get U greater than A or equal to A. Both are available. Hence we can say that either 1 or 4 will be correct. 1 is wrong, 4 is wrong, but definitely one of these two has to be correct, because the actual conclusion is U greater than or equal to A, right? So that's the point where you have to go for either or, right? It need not necessarily be greater, lesser, equal to. All three may not be the always possible answer there. Like in this case, we are getting a definite conclusion that U greater than or equal to A. In one conclusion, U equal to A is given. In one other conclusion, U greater than A is given. So none of them are correct, but combination is correct. It's like head and tail, heads and tails. You have tossed a coin. Is it head or tail? You have no idea. It cannot be head always. It cannot be tails always. But either heads or tails. Get the point? So that's like a complementary pair here. It should either be greater or it should be equal. Yes, it should either be equal or it should be greater. So now the correct answer for this question will be 1 or 4 and 2. 2 is definitely correct. Either 1 or 4. So you can say the answer should be only 2 follows and either 1 or 4. So this is one thing which you have to be careful about. And as you have seen here, if you go wrong in copying anything wrong, you will get a wrong answer. Like what mistake I have committed. So this is a very important learning, that copy the question properly and do it very properly. You cannot miss any letter or any symbol there, right? So I think we'll stop here. The answer for this question has to be option 5, only 2, and either 1 or 4 is true as per the given answer. Well, that's all from our side for today's session. I would like to just announce about our new course that we have launched, that is SBI Associate PO and IBPS PO 2014. You all are aware that the SBI Associates PO notification has been announced, right? There are about 3,000 vacancies in the associate banks of State Bank of India Group, which is a very prestigious job after the SBI PO. So you all have a golden opportunity in front of you. Prepare well for that exam, and as custom, we have launched our SBI Associate PO course as well. So those who all are interested can get the details on our website, that is www.talentsprint.com, or you can also call our call center at 1-800-103-3040 for more details. Right. This online course, as you all know, will provide you more than 350 videos, access to more than 350 videos, and such live sessions are conducted for doubts clarification and for solving previous year's papers. Apart from this, you will get lots of online tests and ebooks to prepare. So I'm sure all of you will find it useful, and all of you have enjoyed the session. Please share your valuable feedback. That's all from my side. See you in the next session, that is on next Wednesday. So as per the schedule, next Wednesday we are going to discuss the general awareness part or the current affairs section of the previous year's IBPS PO papers. So you all can join us with your friends on the next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Thank you. See you in the next session. Thank you all for joining us. Keep practicing, because practice is the only shortcut to crack this exam. The more you practice, the easier it is. All the best. See you in the next.